college was a big revelation. Anna University, everybody is a school topper, so you are not a you are not any different. Mm, There, the difference was everybody understands everything in class, but the difference is this guy. He's a he's in the Tamil Nadu basketball team, national team,
Mm.
plays national. There is this guy. He does this jamming, right? Keyboard and this thing, guitar jamming, and like in those days, Ilayaraja was very very famous, and he was almost compared better than A.R. Rahman. And there was one guy who used to play Ilayaraja music like Ilayaraja, and people used to flock to his room in hostel, ki, play this, play that. And there was one guy who used to do animation. So all our college functions would start with his animation that he built, and he had this computer. So college was a big, big revelation because you were no longer having that edge. the only good
Mhm.
thing the only good thing in your life is no longer good enough. And and then there were kids in college whose brothers were like in exemplary position. Somebody was a NASA director, and his sister was so good in class. And one day I was invited to her house, and we were having lunch. Her brother called, I think, from in the evening time, early morning, East Coast. His brother called from Houston, and imagine for 1 hour he was guiding her what to do, what not. And I noticed that I visibly could see that from next month she was behaving differently or something like that. Like I could know that whatever whenever her brother calls and gives her guidance. So, and I was missing that, and there was just no guide there. And then there were some families where one of my best friends, he had 7 mamas. All of them had masters in US and did startups and things like that. Imagine the kind of inputs he gets in a very boring task like having a dinner. You go out to eat, you only talk about the quality of biryani, let's say, or where else you can get better biryani. He, when he goes out to eat with his mamas, is becoming a better person, is getting $100,000 education for free.
Mm.
That too, the mama is treating him to the food, right? So
Right.
imagine imagine being from those kind of families. And if we go and see, right, whether Sam Bank Friedman from FTX is both
Mhm.
and that this thing, right, his parents were in significant
Stanford.
positions. Mark Zuckerberg, then the Google guys, their parents were, even Satya Nadella, his father was the chief secretary to PV
Right.
Narasimha Rao's this thing,
Right. Right.
cabinet. When India's liberalization happened, Satya's father was the secretary of finance, I think, who essentially worked with Manmohan Singh to open up India's
Right.
economy. So Satya is no, you
Right.
know, he's coming from a background. His
Background.
sister, his brother-in-law are all senior IS officers. He comes from a background with administrative skills built in. So my college told me that these are going to be my shortcomings. I will now have to get a rebirth and go through this process of
Right.
learning from these people.
Right.
And maybe by my 40s and mid 40s, I might be able to,
I
you
will
know.
do. So,
Mm,
again, going back, so you came from a very small city. You had
mm,
your own challenges, but you were good at studies. So you made it to
mm,
a college, and you
mm,
came here. You saw these guys. Now you are competing with the best of the best, but also
mm,
the fact that they have additional edge in the life because they have some cheat code that you don't have or you did not get from your parents or let's say from a school,
mm,
because it's it's like an undue advantage, sort of a leverage that they had that you did not have. So, and you talked about a couple of these people who are in big position that we see even in the US. They're as you said, their previous generations were here. Their relatives are in big positions, and they are able to shortcut a lot of these things around what are the cheat codes to life, right? So,
yeah, yeah.
I wanted to get into that, but before that, so let's talk about. So we talked about all of that. Now let's talk about how you had all these. So you had your own shortcomings in school. You came out and you now start seeing other shortcomings. Okay, not that I'm not have to be a good guy, but also this guy that I'm competing with knows things that I may take 10 years for me to even know how all of this works.